that's my grandfather. And this is a little church that is still standing, Home Office Chapel. And I think I've told you the story about that before.
I love the story of that.
Yeah. And I like the way Janeen, as she did this album for me, she's told a little story of everything that goes with it.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah. And it's still used today for special occasions, weddings.
Small ones.
Yeah. It's still a one-room school, one-room
church
chapel. But, and we had Sunday school in there. We would just all go to our different corners like they did in the one-room schoolhouses. And there's our family tree. From the Sifford line. So if you see any of the road signs that say Killian, Sifford, Hager,
that's all your family.
All, or people that go back to where at least we're cousins.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of streets with those names and a lot of tombstones.
All right. And that's just some scenes of things that must have been Grandpa's birthday party. That's a basket of cotton. That's my grandpa, and that's Benny.
The oldest son.
Yeah, the oldest. Well, it was Terry's older brother, so he would be a grandson.
Grandson.
To my grandfather, yeah. And they're proud of the cotton. And that's Grandma. Janeen, I can't see close enough there. It looks like it really looks like she might have a little basket with eggs in it.
I think you've told me that before about that picture.
And her apron, she would go gather up the eggs or whatever, and come back with her apron, all wrapped up, and And that's a picture of my grandmother. I don't know how we managed. My mother and I managed to talk her into putting on a bathing suit, but we did. And I don't think she's ever quite forgiven us, probably even today. If she
and there it is for everyone to see.
And that's my grandma and grandpa. And that's me with two of my favorite cousins, Perry Sifford and Dennis Sifford.
Has Dennis passed?
Yes. And this is a picture. They wound up having 9 children.
Ooh.
These were the first 2, and I'm not sure, I've always wondered why there was such spacing between the early children and later on. I mean, my grandmother was having them every 2 years.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, when he grew up and got married, he was raising his family as my grandmother raised her last, I think, 4 children.
Overlap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grandma'd have a baby one year, and I could do it Aunt Lucy to have a baby the next year. And that's just.
But you never did find out why there was a big gap there.
No, and I've often wondered because I think there's about 4 years difference between those 2. And then my Aunt Louise came along. I think there was something like 7 or 8 years difference.
Maybe miscarriages.
Yeah, and
My
I've
mother
often
had
wondered,
a couple between us.
Right, and it's one of those things where, I wish there was somebody to tell me now.
I know. Often I think, if Dad was still alive, I could ask him about.
Right, yeah, but
Too late.
Too late. And it didn't even occur to me.
Not then.
And there is the old house where I grew up. Of course, this was made, how many years ago, Janeen?
I walked through that with Nana,
Ooh.
telling me stories. I don't know, early 2000s, somewhere in there.
Okay.
When did I do this book for you?
Okay, all right, that's good. For my 65th birthday.
So that would have been basically 20 years ago when I did
Yeah.
it. So early 2000s, yeah.
But there were 2 big oak trees. This one and the driveway came into the house from this direction, and there was another one over on the other side of the driveway. And there were more activities that went on under those trees.
Yes.
We always had a swing, hanging
somewhere
up there. And I think Janeen's got some pictures later on.
What was the occupation that caused them to purchase this property and live here? Or was that also passed down?
They were farmers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were farmers.
I knew that was part of what they did, but I didn't know if that was the occupation or if they were more like gentlemen.
And that was everybody's occupation in the whole family.
Okay.
Because they got up and had breakfast, and they would, and most of that was done. I remember my grandfather having a tractor later on, but early on, much of that was just done by horses and plows and that type of thing.
Sure.
But anyway, I have a lot of memories.
Parties or play or whatever.
Right.
All the activities.
And these are some of the, Janeen, why don't you turn that light on? See if that helps.
I can probably do this now, but I'm with the camera. Glaring forward.
Yeah, that'd probably help. Yeah, that's much better.
Thank you. I can see a little more clearly now.
Okay, and these are some of the, I guess that's.
Outbuildings?
That's another view of the old house.
Smokehouse.
Yeah, the smokehouse, and that's where, we preserved all the meats. Yeah, country hams were hanging from the rafters, and, they had, I guess there were shelves that were built, and, that's where they salted down like bacon and that kind of thing. And that's the old barn. And that's that's the well pump. And she pointed out that when she made the picture, there was still a soap dish.
Oh my goodness, after all that time.
And there were just barns, they were just buildings, for everything.
Different purposes.
That needed to be stored. And I think it probably had about as many outbuildings that were still standing as any of the houses here.
That's
And that's another view of the old house.
And the banister.
And yes, where I remember getting up as high as I could and sliding all the way down the banister.
It's shiny from that, I can tell.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably.
You were polishing it.
Polishing it from my backside.
That's it.
And it's funny little memories that you have of different things.
Nice.
But I remember going up and helping my grandmother get the laundry together. And so we had all those sheets, from the beds upstairs. And I remember there was a landing here that was between the two bedrooms. And this was during the war. So this is just one of my few memories about wartime. But I remember taking those sheets and tossing them over the banisters and saying, "Hi, Hitler, bombs away!"
Oh, yeah. It filters down to the kids, doesn't it?
So, yeah. And that's some of the activity under those big
the
trees. Yeah.
The old cars, I love it.
Yeah, you can see I can't really tell what make that.
No,
But if
because
I had Perry here, he'd tell me exactly what it was.
The men know.
Yeah.
And the laden table of all the wonderful foods that are gathered.
Right. But any activity, call for food.
Oh, sure.
If it was just homemade ice cream and watermelon,
It's
still food. But had some wonderful cooks, and this was a big part of the social life.
Oh yeah.
And neighbors shared, and just a different time. And these were some of the other buildings. And my grandpa again, and you might not want to look at that. That was butchering a hog.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've read a lot about that. A lot of people gather to do it.
Yeah. And I remembered I would help do whatever needed to be done with the meat after the deed was done.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I didn't want to be any part of seeing that happen.
And the skinning and all that.
Yeah, no, didn't want to see that done.
And there's a farmer in his field.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are just some random pictures of family. That's my mother.
The beautiful one. I love the one you put on Facebook
I know.
of her.
Isn't she
in the
beautiful?
gown.
She's
She's
so
gorgeous.
beautiful.
No wonder you two got that good look.
Oh. And that was my Uncle Albert. That's a picture of Uncle Paul, who you see has
lost a leg in the war.
Yeah. And I heard so many people say that men coming back from war just didn't want to talk about it. Just didn't. It was just, that was like a light. But he did. He was a prisoner of war of the Germans for a year and a half. And
Wow.
you know, I wish I could go back and deep in my memory somewhere remember a lot of the things that he talked about. But some of the things were really interesting. I know he talked about one time, somebody asked him about the food, and you know, he said, well, it was pretty horrible, but he said, really, the guards didn't eat any better than we did.
Ooh.
You know, it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Boy, there's some good-looking people that you are family with and associated to.
Well, thank you.
Very good-looking groups.
Okay. And this is just more family.
Yeah, those are fun though, aren't they?
That's me.
Oh gosh, look at that cute little chubby face and curls.
Oh, now that was later, because that was at the back of our house, mine and Fred's house, and those were our two babies,
Oh.
Herman and Cleo, two little dogs. That's another picture of my mom in her early age.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Perry, and,
Okay.
my mother.
Oh. Good family stuff. There's a character with a bow tie or big ribbon tie.
That was part of my dad's family. I think these are his siblings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maine and Chester Florence Hager and the Bollingers. It was kind of sad. Her life was kind of sad. I think it would have been during World War I. She apparently, I don't know whether people say she was engaged or anyway, she had a boyfriend, whatever, who was killed in the service. And so she had what we'd probably refer to now as a nervous breakdown.
Uh-huh.
But did some bizarre things, and it put her in the mental hospital in Morganton, and she spent the rest of her life, except for the last maybe few years.
Family took her?
Yeah, they took her then, and I don't know, as years passed, you know, I mean, I remember visiting her there, and she was perfectly fine, you know, she had recovered from whatever, but I don't know, the family just didn't know what else to do, or whether, you know,
maybe she
once
was
you were
comfortable there.
Well, I think she did after a while. I think she got comfortable there, but it was really
Yeah, the tragedy of losing someone when you're young.
Okay, these
Oh, look here.
Okay, these are pictures of my
Your mama.
mom as a manicurist.
Yes.
And I don't remember.
It says it's Mayor Baxter.
Oh,
That's what I
Oh.
thought. I thought I recognized. That's the reason I was trying to see if you had put that. Yeah. So the barber shop was located on South Tryon Street, right across from the Jefferson Standard Life Building.
Oh my goodness,
Where,
right down
yeah, it was right in the middle of town, and of course that's where all the business and everything
there. So
was.
that's where the men
And
went.
that's where the customers, this was in the arcade, and I'm not sure, Janeen, do you know if the arcade is still there as the
Oh,
arcade?
there is an
No.
arcade. I've been in it because my Aunt Margie, the architect, walked us through there and explained some of the architecture
Oh,
in the
really?
arcade.
Okay, that went between South Tryon Street and I think that was Church Street?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah,
Yes, I've been
yeah.
in there and had the architecture explained to me.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, fascinating. So that's where it was.
That's where it was.
Wow.
And she had taken a beauty course when I was, she and my father were divorced when I was 2, which that would have been in 1940. And she needed to go to work, you know. So I think my uncle loaned her enough money to take the beauty course, and she finished it, and she worked in a women's salon, you know, beauty salon.
Oh, I didn't know she also did that.
Well, she did that like the first year, and somehow the opportunity came along. Somebody
To
gave
go
her
into
the
the men's
yeah,
salon.
to do that.
Lovely.
And my grandmother was just horrified. She said, "Oh, those men will follow you home."
Always a big fear, yeah.
But they really watched the barbers and customers.
Watched out for her
they
because she was
watched-
still so young.
Well, she was. But
Yeah.
she would only have been probably
18, 19.
19 when she started that.
Yeah.
But There's some
Look at
other-
those long legs.
yeah.
You got them from her, didn't you?
Really Savannah's the one that in here.
Oh, well, yes.
Oh, yeah, nobody can compete with that one.
That's for sure. And there you are.
Yeah, that's birthdays, and
Ooh, look how pretty.
that's my beloved Fred.
Mhm. Look at him, how young he was there.
I know. And that's
You,
even
not
younger.
only have you an attractive family, you attract attractive people.
Well, thank you.
Very, very
I thought he
good.
was kind of cute, but you know,
Yeah.
it took me a long time to decide that he was cute enough to date. Like my April of my senior year in high school,
Uh-huh.
you know, I wonder if he hadn't asked me to go to our junior senior, if we would just have lost each other, and maybe.
So you knew him from high school?
Oh, I knew.
I didn't realize
I
that.
knew him from 8th grade,
Oh, lovely.
and that's the two of them. His older brother Lee.
Yep, he has a great smile.
Your Uncle Lee still looks like that in the face, but not the body so much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and that's
There you are.
pictures of us.
Yeah. Oh, what a great smile. I love that smile.
Thank you.
And was he holding a camera?
No,
a puppy or
holding
something.
a dog.
It was
That
too hard to
her.
tell in dark
Yeah,
against
it's-
dark.
Yeah,
At first I thought it was one of those box cameras.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, well, that's what the picture would have been made.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that is,
Sinclair.
yeah, that's her husband.
So isn't there a baby named after?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I thought
Yeah.
so.
Shane's son.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and
That's good.
yeah, yeah, and she was kind of cute.
Yes.
She was,
Yeah, she was
she
so
had a
lovely.
rather interesting life. She was born in 1900.
Uh-huh.
And on Easter Sunday, and how many birthdays did she say she had on Easter Sunday? Do you
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
I don't remember her saying that, but we could
Yeah.
figure that out
We could
pretty
figure
easy.
it out, but there were,
Ask Google, huh?
I think
Exactly.
her 90th birthday, if I'm not mistaken,
Was on Easter?
Sunday.
My
And
sister
she was-
April, it's this year, is hers again, because it's
Oh.
17th. So she has it every once in a while, too.
Yeah,
Easter.
yeah.
How fun.
And I think this picture, he died of cancer. And I'm thinking maybe that picture was made.
Towards the end.
Towards the
Yeah,
end.
he has
For
it.
a long time, I think that was the only picture I had ever seen of him, and then we found some others.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not many, but
So that's Killian right there.
And
Oh.
she loved poetry, so we have notebooks like this that are just
her
filled.
poetry?
Well, I mean, she wrote a little bit, but mostly she just collected. She loved it.
Mm-hmm.
and the little,
Grandma
she
Jane.
loved the little, like little 4-line poem things. You know, as a rule,
Haiku.
a man's a fool. When
Oh.
it's hot, he wants it cool. When it's
Yeah.
cool, he wants it hot. Always wanting what is not.
Uh-huh. Cute, cute. Easy to
Oh, and my
remember.
favorite. I eat my peas with honey. I've done it all my life. It makes my peas taste funny, but it keeps them on my
the
knife.
I
Yeah.
heard that one. My father has quoted that one.
She had all sorts of those little things that she collected.
Wow, all the different families involved. I mean, the names, when I go back, Killian,
Right,
Sifford, Hager.
Right, yeah. Well, you are welcome to take that with you and, you know, just.
Yes, I'll put this aside and look at it at home, because I know Walt will enjoy this also.
Yeah, I
Do you want this?
okay, yeah. All you need to do is click. Okay. All right, and these are just,
Oh,
we're
boy.
not really sure, because
Who they are, huh?
she took all the photos from, you know, we had them in boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Boxes and
I
boxes.
used to, yes.
So,
Used to do it.
after I moved in with her, she sorted them all out, and now she tells me all we need to do is just scan them and ready to go.
Just
Let's
click,
see.
or I don't know if you
I'm
can
trying to
hit.
figure out who
The
everybody-
bunch of
that's
cousins?
Lee. That's Lee, I know.
The
No,
poem.
that I know
I'm not sure who the rest of
who
them.
all those people are.
Well, I don't have the magic.
Click either. See if you can hit the over arrow. I don't know if the arrow will work. Down right there. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
It's a little lighter, we can see the people.
Now, that's Fred and his brother Lee, and that's Mr. Sinclair, Grandpa Sinclair, and Mother Janeen. And
I saw that.
I think that is.
That's Grandpa Lee.
Grandpa Lee.
I was shocked when I saw that picture of Mr. Sinclair because I'd never seen his face, and he looks so much like my dad. The resemblance
Whoa,
was
good
crazy.
for
I looked
you.
at that and went,
You
oh,
finally saw it.
wow.
And I don't know how much of it is just, but look how dark his skin is.
Yes, he appears
Yes,
to have.
but
yeah.
Dad's was like that too.
And Fred was very dark.
Oh.
And when she was born, someone said, she looks like she's been out in the sun.
Where they took the skin graft here, I am white. I mean,
Oh.
white.
Wow.
Well, it's never seen the sun because I have I
Yeah.
don't wear anything short
Oh,
like
yeah,
that in my
yeah.
hair, and it is tissue paper white.
Oh, gosh. Well, I went
You went the wrong way.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah, that's just little boys and,
look, this is wonderful. The tear in the old paper, and
Oh,
you were
yeah.
able to just save it anyhow. Okay, we're at play here.
That's Lee and somebody.
I'm not sure.
No?
That's Lee and Fred.
Oh, I love it. Look at all these people.
Okay,
Look
now-
at the clothing.
Yeah. All right, now that would be.
That's Grandpa Wilburn.
Okay, and that's Mother Janie's daughter.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And then that's her to the right behind him. And I think those are her brothers and sisters, because that's Aunt Clara beside her. And then
Oh,
Louise,
wow.
you can tell, I can tell them.
There were 9. I don't know if they're all there or not.
Uh-huh.
There were,
Nine.
I think that said it was on his maybe 80th birthday or something like that.
Family gathers.
and that's Fred in front of the old
Yeah,
house.
see the dark skin?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Another good looking guy.
And
Oh.
that's Lee. Cute.
Oh.
Just a little farm over there.
Yep, got the overalls on.
That's Mr. Sinclair, because that's, I think, the only other picture I had ever seen of him. It's like, well, you can't tell what he looks like
I
there.
cannot even see him. I can't
Yeah,
pick that
that's-
up.
I think it's made the same time that first one we saw was.
Okay,
He was
yeah.
sitting on the porch.
In deep shadow.
Okay, now I'm not
This
sure.
is a little
That's Grandma
expedition
Janie
away.
in the middle, and I'm not sure who's with her.
Was she short, or are these
She
guys
was
just
tall,
tall?
She was short.
very short. She was
Shorter
about
than you?
5'2".
Yeah,
Yeah.
like me instead of like you.
I started to tell you a while ago, she lived a rather interesting life because she went to college, became a teacher, and she wound up teaching in a little one-room schoolhouse, which is right at the end of the driveway of the house where I grew up.
Oh, no.
And she remembers when my mother was born, because she remembers being told that, this baby had been born.
Mhm.
And so she went down to see her. So she saw my mother,
my
she was
gosh.
born. And she wound up teaching Uncle Bly, maybe a couple of Mother's brothers, who were old enough to
Yeah.
yeah. And she didn't marry until she was in her early 30s.
Oh, wow.
But she did things like she and a group of people went on trips to other states selling books. Which-
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she led a rather
An
interesting life.
interesting life. Good for
And
her.
wound up marrying a farmer, and that's Fred. And Jane, hand me a tissue.
You can, right there.
Thank you.
The drippy nose.
Right here. Did you hear me say I did completely redo my eye makeup because I was outside for about 20 minutes?
I know.
And I
it was
just nose and eyes
yeah.
pouring.
Yeah.
So
It's
on
so-
top of
it's-
having dry eye, it's the time of year
It's
with all the
pollen.
pollen.
So, same here.
But you know what? I'm happy to be dripping instead of having it congeal
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
because I don't have any pain. I just look awful.
That look on his face.
But look at the difference in their complexion.
Yes, quite.
We've got lots
Oh,
of
these
those.
are fun.
Okay.
That's Mr. Wilburn again, but I can't think of.
Yeah. So,
So where does he figure in?
He's
Wilburn?
my grandmother's father.
Okay,
Was Wilburn
okay.
Beatty.
Okay,
So there's the Beatties.
got it.
okay, we're back to.
Back to the kids again.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay, I think we've seen all of them, haven't we? No?
Look
Now
at
keep
those
going.
long legs.
It keeps going.
Whoa, now what?
I don't know what that was.
They are dressed up, some of them. I think this is an event of some sort that was to dress up for. Some of them look costumey.
except
so old
except we
ago.
would have the costumes now of what that really was then.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
wonder if, on the back of any of those old pictures.
I don't, some of them had things on the back.
Yeah.
Here, look.
There's a shirt on the back here, does it?
Oh, that was fun though. That was
Yeah.
a fun picture.
That's Sinclair.
Mm. Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
good
he
looking.
was, yeah, I can see Fred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mother
Oh,
Jane.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would have been made probably in the 20s, Janeen, maybe?
By the
Probably.
style, I would think so.
Yeah.
The haircut.
Yeah, she's probably
bob.
25 there or something, you know, looks like it.
Yeah, she was kind of a cutie. There's Fred.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's, I don't know, but those are probably just friends of Mother Jane and somebody.
Oh gosh, I have a picture of me in a stroller like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look
Well, that's
at
one
you.
reason I kept the pictures, is because some of them were written on the back who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, babies.
Oh wow. Oh, look how you saved that even though it was ripped. Wonderful. Oh gosh. Too cute. Oh, kind of in a snowsuit. Oh, yes. Looks new, huh? A new tombstone.
Yeah, I don't know, when did Grandpa Lee die?
Oh, gosh, he died when, your Uncle Lee was 12 years old.
Okay, so 47-ish. That,
Yeah, I think he
that
died.
probably, well, no, that'd be too young there. They would be too,
So I'm not sure.
that's, okay, go back one. Is that Uncle Griffin? That's Uncle Griffin with
What?
planes,
How can you tell that from so far away?
because I remember the picture.
Okay.
But
Now,
he
what
was
is
in
it
the,
of?
he was in the Army, Air Force,
Air Force in World
in
War II.
War II. So that's him going to get on a plane or coming back from getting off a plane, or you can see the
Yeah,
planes.
Yeah.
And he flew a lot of those remember we were talking about Ernest that had to
Yes.
go into Berlin?
Yes.
He flew a lot of those.
Oh. That's about history.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, Mother Jane and
Look at
Lee
those.
and Fred and I.
Towhead.
too.
Towhead.
I think Uncle Lee kept saying maybe Beatrice. Who is that age? One of Aunt Clara's.
I'm not real sure.
There's different style of clothing again.
Mm-hmm.
And the cropped hair.
Mm-hmm.
What's that kind of, is that an old Bible?
It looks like something like that.
Uh-huh.
I'll just go through these pretty quickly because I think it's just, okay, well, I didn't realize we had.
That's Mr. Sinclair again.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be one of the first old tractors. More kids.
Who are probably mostly deceased at this point.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Oh.
That's Grandpa
Strike
Lee.
a pose.
That's Grandpa Lee.
Oh.
That would be Sinclair's father.
Yeah.
Now, is this to distinguish from when you say cousin Lee? Uncle, cousin?
I say Uncle Lee. I say Uncle Lee and
Are we
Grandpa
talking
Lee
the same
to
person?
no. I say Uncle Lee and Grandpa Lee to try to distinguish between the two.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Grandpa Lee would have been Uncle Lee's grandfather.
There you go. All right. Second generation.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, but he was definitely quite a character.
Well, you can tell he was posing.
He apparently ate green beans every day of his life too.
Oh my. Well, you gotta have something to love.
And it was Lee and Fred again, with one of the little cousins of some sort, and another.
Another outdoor gathering.
Mhm.
All right, now that has to be Libby and,
And
yeah.
Dottie.
Yeah.
Is that cute? And that's the
Oh, that picture of
you
Nana's
saw
in the
earlier. Yeah.
middle of all that for some reason.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
You might be getting into pictures of Nana because they're kind of in clumps. They're kind of in groups of.
That's good.
okay, yeah. Yeah, that was her, and that was her roommate.
Mhm.
Color.
Oh, and
and
that's
that's-
Dossie,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure who that is.
I'm not sure who that is either. I was hoping you knew.
It could possibly have been,
That might have been made in Florida too.
it may have been.
Very heavy vegetation.
Mhm.
Trees.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Dawson Perry lived in Florida for 40 years or
Oh,
something.
long time, yeah.
Yeah. Well, how old are the old
Oh, I know, that's fun.
Yeah, a lake somewhere.
Not this one.
No, too
Now,
soon.
how old would she have been there?
Oh, that's probably in the 80s, somewhere in there. She's probably going to be 65, 60, 65 there.
Yeah, it's before Alzheimer's, because she still has the sparkle.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yep, still happy.
And that was her best friend, Jenny.
Going back a
Oh,
little.
who that was.
All right, that's some boyfriend. She had lots of boyfriends.
I bet she did.
She did, but just never.
Uh-uh.
Definitely a 40s,
Yeah, yeah.
a 40s pose.
I have pictures of my mother like that, yeah. Yes. Yeah, that would be my mother at the swimming pool.
I bet that was made in Florida, because this.
Yeah.
Restaurant, yeah.
And that's Jenny and
Is that Mr. Farmer or Mr. Dwelly?
Mr. Dwelly.
Was this in one of your houses? Somebody
I
else?
don't know, that would have been in their house, I
Okay.
think, yeah. That was a very young picture of her. Woohoo! That was her friend. I can't think her name right now. There she is, yeah.
Yep, yep.
That was one of her roommates.
With their smiles. Oh,
So that's in front
at
of
the
the old
house.
house.
Yes, recognize it. Ah,
Now that is getting,
into it.
You
Yeah.
can tell, can't you?
yeah.
Mhm, the eyes.
Isn't it amazing how you can see how they're just blank?
Yeah. The eyes are the light of the soul.
The windows of the soul.
Yeah.
See how bright she looks now?
Mm-hmm. Very different. Some guy.
Some boyfriend
Some
again.
guy.
Somebody she works with, I think.
That was Joe Farrell. I said, you wouldn't have remembered him at all, I don't think. Yeah. He was, I think he was her last kind of serious boyfriend.
Except for Ross, who wanted to be a serious
Yeah.
boyfriend.
Yeah. There were so many, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember him, but I don't
No
remember his
name.
name.
Ooh.
She was in the Civil Air Patrol for a while until Grandma found out that she was learning how to fly an airplane.
Young lady,
Yeah.
get on.
Oh, it's like, no, you're not doing that. Don't want to have to be worried about you two.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Tommy.
Tommy's my age. That looks a little too young. Maybe that's one
Okay,
of Tommy's
maybe
kids.
Yes, maybe Tommy. Well, I think it's Tommy Jr.
You were still right.
Maybe. We were both right.
In the house again.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh, yeah.
back to that same picture.
She's got him soaking his nails.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he is the reason that we got to go to the beach every year.
Oh, really?
He had a house.
The mayor, huh?
Yep, he had a house sitting at the beach, and he always let her have it for a week every summer so we could go to the
Yeah,
beach.
favorite.
And I think one reason he liked to let her have it because he knew that that house would be cleaner when she left than when she came.
It needed a spring cleaning. Yeah, there she is working.
I think are we around?
No. Still her.
That's fun. Fun. Oh, yeah.
She had a grass skirt. We always had a lot of fun having a picture taken with that grass skirt.
Shared it around, huh?
Yeah.
And kids sitting down here laughing. Oh, and the fur coat. So many of these, my mother, very similar kinds of shots from the
Mm-hmm.
era.
Arcade barbershop, air conditioning. Now that was a big deal.
Yes, especially
Mhm.
Charlotte in the summer.
Mhm.
And it's so funny, it's in the arcade, it's
Uh-huh,
where it was.
uh-huh, yep. All kinds of businesses. you know.
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
All kinds of boyfriends.
That's good. Christmas.
That's Savannah.
Oh.
She's holding.
Oh. She came with dark hair, huh?
Mm-hmm. Till it all fell out. Then she was a little ball baby for a year or two. But she would have only been maybe a month old there or something.
Oh my gosh. That doesn't even look like her, does it?
Mm-mm.
Uh-uh. That's not as flattering as some.
Mm-mm. She's probably
She's probably
about
16 there.
16 there.
Mm. Very young.
Yeah. And she's probably thinking, what in the world am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to raise
Yeah,
this
look at
baby?
the eyes.
Mhm.
Woe is me. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
Mm-hmm. Graduation.
Oh, that picture was in the paper.
Ooh, Easter bonnets or
Mhm.
something?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yep.
Fun.
That's you.
Really?
Sure.
It's so
Yep.
shady, I can't tell the face.
Mm-hmm. I think.
The contrast is too strong or something
No.
with the sun.
It looks like, yeah, maybe it was her.
There's
It
Mama.
looks a lot like you.
All right, you can tell.
You can tell, it's
Mhm.
going blank.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It was amazing. And you could tell from day to day. Oh, she's not here today.
Really? Oh, go back
Now,
and forth.
this is her, 80th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And when did she start showing signs?
Probably right before that.
Just before 80?
Yeah,
It's hard to know. It's hard to know what your first signs are.
Yeah.
we go back now and try to remember.
Mm-hmm.
But we think some of the earliest signs we saw where she was looking our mail at that point, and any mail that came in for a sweepstake, we would get mail in my name. The kids still would get mail, and
Yeah.
you know, Uncle Albert, I think she started having his mail sent there because he had issues, and she started sending in these sweepstakes
Oh, boy.
for everybody.
Everything.
And buying things,
Oh.
and buying repetitions.
Buying them in triplicate. You know, you're like, didn't we pay for this? Well, no, wait a minute. She bought 4 of these, you
Well,
know.
Out of
and
control.
yeah,
Mhm.
So, finally, I just had to take that away. I think we were over
Nope.
that.
That's a different one. I haven't seen that shot before.
No, because I think there are pictures of you in here at the end.
Okay.
And when she retired from Sears, maybe, or
Or one of her plaques for
at some point.
service or whatever, yeah.
Good looking, good. Oh,
Yeah.
there's the hat again, yeah.
Yeah.
Go. Gasoline, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Striking a pose like your mom.
That's
Look,
her.
there you are.
That is
This one?
not me. That is Joe, I think.
Oh.
Look at the dimple.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, now these are Get Power. Anywhere they had a plant, they built houses for the workers to live in. And that is one that was, I'm not sure whose house that was, but Mother's brother, my Uncle James, and his wife had a house in, or the plant, they call it Buck Steam Station in Spencer. And so anyway, and my dad and his family also have one, the same. He and my uncle worked together.
Ah.
They all went to church together.
Oh my goodness.
What else the kids were in school together.
Sure.
Yeah, because my younger sisters, were
Age is the
about
same,
that.
yeah.
But they didn't know anything about
They
her.
didn't know anything about me. They didn't know anything. Yes, it was kind of crazy.
Not until years later. That's a great picture. That is good. Again. You said that was this one was ended
Yeah.
with a lot
All
of
right,
good
now
ones of her.
that, what was that? Was that?
Maybe Lee's wedding? Lee and Brenda's?
I don't remember.
Because it's not
80s.
your
I
church.
could tell by the shoulder pads.
Oh,
80s.
yeah.
You know, early night. Well, they would have been married like 92 or
Okay.
something. But yeah, I think that's
End of
probably
80s,
what that
early
is.
90s. There's all kids.
That's you in the back. I can see from here. Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Is that triangle? That's a triangle, isn't it?
No, it's Rock Springs.
Is that Rock Springs?
Yeah, that's too old. I'm
Yeah,
too
you
old
would be
then.
too old there, maybe.
I'll find Fred.
That might have been like chorus or something, or I don't know. Who
I
knows?
don't know. Who knows? Oh, her music students.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's me.
Oh,
Yeah, that's me.
very
Oh.
nice.
That's me.
Oh.
That's me.
Yeah.
And me.
Oh, yeah. I saw this one in another event. Maybe it was at the Urania's
Oh.
birthday.
It may have
That
been.
Maybe.
played-
Is that in the dorm at North
Uh-huh.
Spencer?
That's a double
Uh-huh.
ghost Spencer.
So she goes to
Okay, and
North
that's
Spencer. She lived in North Spencer her like later college years at UNCG, and I lived in North Spencer my freshman year
Oh.
of college. Same furniture.
No.
Yes.
This
Oh.
furniture, now see, it was brand new when we had it.
Yeah.
It looked really good. Didn't look quite as good
Not
when
the
you did.
thing. Oh.
Yeah, it was like, well, yeah, because that's the first thing she said. We walked in, she said, "This is the same furniture."
But
Yeah, I remember that
The
one.
Bobby socks
Yes, and the
blazers
plaid skirt.
and-
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes, I do remember that
that's
picture.
Perry and me.
Doing acrobats. And the grass
And the
skirt.
grass
for-
skirt,
Uh-huh.
And that was made in the apartment in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers. I don't know about that.
A little tree, a bush.
That's
Hello.
That's me.
Oh,
That's me and Perry and Jenny again.
oh yes, like earlier.
Now, this is my dad, and that's my father,
Oh, right there.
and those are my grandparents.
Uh-huh.
Um,
You see the other side.
these are all my aunts and uncles.
Wow.
Um,
The family you didn't know you had for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah, we met when I was in college. Yeah, I was 19.
I knew you were older. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Aunt Sandra sent me names of everybody.
Oh,
Okay, that is, I think Uncle Charlie, yeah. Oh, and this is my uncle, Fred Killian.
oh, okay, the name repeats.
Yeah. Yep, that's the three of us again. We were,
Birthday cake, it looks like.
yeah,
Oh, look. Oh, look. how
Okay,
cute.
here, I've got it if you want to
The
go back.
names?
okay, go back.
She named them
Oh,
Imogene,
Okay.
Gwendolyn, Roy,
Yeah,
Francis, Ernest, who was, Ernestine is
oh,
named
that's,
for Ernest.
oh, okay. There's
And then
the
she just
connection.
says Papa and Mamaw.
Yes, the parents.
Edith,
yeah,
Fred, Edna, and Diener.
yeah. His name, Dr. Charles, I think they called him Diener, I don't know. Probably came from some kid, they would say his name and they
Yeah,
just,
that happened.
But when I was in college, he was working a job in Greensboro, and a lot of times when he'd come home on the weekend, he'd pick me up and take me home back.
Oh, that was
And
handy.
Oh.
by that time, well, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I guess I had met my dad by then.
And then Papa and Mamaw were easily Otto Killian and Ethel Elizabeth Baker Killian.
Yeah. So see, we got Bakers and
You do. You
all kinds of course, I guess it's that way with everybody. If you go back, like,
Not as much as here, because so many people came here and stayed. Whereas on the West Coast,
they're just in and out.
yeah, too much of that, and it's newer part of the country, California.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm intrigued by the family names that go on and on and on here, and the
Yeah.
connections.
But
Where did you grow
I
up with?
always knew them. She always sent me, as long as I can remember, she always sent me a birthday and
Oh.
a Christmas present.
Oh, that was nice. Thank you, Mama. Here you are, here you are. Yes. Oh, that's a good one. That was professional. Tan.
Yep. Okay.
Some monument somewhere.
Green Gardens,
Okay.
Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. Did.
Yeah, I don't anymore.
Nope,
I just don't get out and see
I
it.
don't either. Oh, very serious. Cute.
Oh,
Cute.
that's Luther. All right,
That is cute.
all right, Janeen, where
Is that not Lee and Brenda's wedding?
it must be, because
If Luther's
Luther
there?
is a cousin of Fred.
Of Lee's, not Fred's.
Yeah, because Fred,
Okay.
Fred, they would ask him, or Fred, somebody would ask Fred,
Uh-huh.
are you related to Luther Killian? And he said, no, that's my brother's cousin.
Luther's a bit of a mess.
No, it's my brother's cousin.
Yeah.
So
That's
I don't
cute.
know.
Who knows
I need
what
to
he
show
was
that
telling
to
you.
him and ask him what in the world he's whispering in my ear.
Well, it
It was
tickled
really,
you.
it was really funny.
Yeah,
wasn't
you got it. You got it. Oh.
I remember my grandmother didn't like that picture. She said, now what are you doing? Putting her hair up like that. She doesn't wear her hair like that.
Oh. Didn't belong, huh?
But
What is this place?
I think that might have,
Westmoreland?
it was a building.
Ah.
And I think that's where Mother lived for a while.
Okay.
They
Mhm.
had an apartment
That
there
would
or
make
something.
sense, yeah. Oh, precious.
She was a cutie,
Now, that
wasn't
would
she?
have been, that was our old mailbox.
You're sitting out in the road.
Oh, yeah, no traffic, no traffic, don't worry about it. But the old house is down there.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Oh, I'm glad you added all these. Uh-huh.
I had just scanned all the pictures in and tried to sort them, you know, by
Look at the
families.
glasses. Go back to that. Look at those cat-eye glasses.
Those are back in style now, too.
Yes. And,
Could
and
wear
the
those
neck
again.
scarves.
Yeah.
I read somewhere the neck scarves are coming back.
Oh, really? No, that's good, because I got to tell them.
I could, yeah, and wouldn't hurt to hide some of it.
Well, and, you know, now they make everything with like a scoop neck.
Yes.
And in the wintertime, I need
Turtleneck.
something, yeah. That's the reason I have a whole thing of turtlenecks.
So this is the same group later?
You know, that might have.
Would you look at the hemlines on those skirts? You could take a ruler across
You could,
there.
couldn't you?
Well, listen, you know what we literally did? I mean, it was all about how far the skirt was from the floor.
Oh, I think so. I'm looking at it.
Oh, yeah.
That is exact.
And it didn't matter if you were tall, it
Or
just made your
short.
skirt that much longer.
Oh. Bobby socks and the exact regimented skirt length.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. Hmm.
You know, she didn't take many pictures of me, did she?
One and only.
I'll say that's what happens when you're an only child, right?
Yes. Or the first. My
Yeah.
parents had a lot of pictures of me.
Oh,
The more kids came along, the less pictures they got.
yeah.
There's an
Okay.
event.
This is when we were all dating. That's Perry and Dossie.
Oh gosh, look at her.
And
She
Danny.
looks like she was 14. Maybe she was.
No, as a matter of fact, she's
Very young
a little bit
looking.
older than Perry, and cousin Denny, and mother, and I think his name was Stan. She dated him for quite a while. But
She was a magnet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
that's not the change, I think.
This
Grandma.
one goes back.
Yeah, Grandma, Grandpa. Yeah. Back to food again.
Okay, I can tell Paul that.
Yeah,
Did
that.
people have pets then? Did you have dogs?
Oh, yeah.
Because you were out on a farm, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. Mine, well, I guess she was not really my pet as such, but, you know, kind of.
The farm dog.
Yeah,
Mhm.
her name was Tippy. She's a cute little dog.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Now, that was made in Florida.
Is that Ken and Greg?
That's Ken and Greg.
Good for you.
You were not anywhere to be found at that time.
Mm-hmm.
All screened in there.
Yeah, because they're like 5 and 7 years older than me. And that looks like about how old they are there.
Yeah.
That's Grandma.
Oh my gosh, how adorable.
That is one of Joe and,
Check those eyes.
Oh, uh-huh.
yeah, I'm trying to think what it was. Her name.
Josh or
J-
Jamie?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Oh my gosh,
Their
that
mother is very,
cute child. Very cute child. Oh.
that's my grandmother.
Generations.
Don't remember. That was Aaron's wife. I think that was her name was. That's Carrie's mom.
She was interesting. Have you told Suzanne stories about her?
No,
She was interesting.
very.
She, when Uncle Paul was captured, and they had originally sent a telegram saying he was missing in action. And she told her husband one day, she said, I'm going to go find him, don't move me. And so she went and lay down on the bed
Yeah, that's,
and somehow had an out-of-body experience, visited Uncle Paul in the prisoner of war camp, came back and told people what his injuries were, told him he was safe and everything. And even the kicker of it, though, is once he got back, he was telling a story or something, and he looked at her and he said, sis, you were there.
that,
Yes,
Yeah.
That is so
I know. How in the world she
wonderful.
knew she could do that.
And they corroborate. I mean, he's in.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, but she knew things that they didn't know.
Couldn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, get down on your knees, everyone. Look at all those overalls.
uh-huh. I don't,
Is that Aunt Louise on the end over there on the left? Maybe? Maybe
I don't
not.
think so, that looks like her. I have no idea. Maybe you have to find that picture and look at the back.
Probably a bunch of school kids, and one of those boys is one of your uncles.
Okay, now that's.
Oh, now talk about some cats. Somebody had cats.
Yeah,
That's Herman and Cleo.
and Cleo, and Janeen remembers Herman and Cleo.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's Terry's mom, Dr. Louise. She's the one who had the out-of-body experience.
Okay. And who said that was that? And your mom said, no, that's not Louise in the group picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's my cousin Randy.
Knew her.
And his,
Did they ever get married?
no, their girlfriend, he gave her a ring years ago.
I thought he did. That's why I wondered if I missed them getting married.
Yeah, so,
Just didn't happen.
It's working for him.
I made a mistake once of meeting some people who were relatives of a brother-in-law, and I said, and how long have you been married? And she looked at him and said, we never did that, did we?
That's a good response.
well,
isn't it?
that's like Barbara and Tony, when he had proposed to her, and they had, gosh, I think they'd lived together for a long time, and so he said, will you marry me? And she looked at him, I think he said something like, well, it's about time. He said, oh, how long has it been? It's 11 years. But at least they had dated that long.
Yeah. Well, this couple apparently had been together for decades, and they were artists, sculpture, artists,
Oh, yeah.
outdoor art type thing. They'd been together forever and ever, and I often heard their names, and we were attending a wedding and saying how long everybody had been married. So I asked them. We never did that, I don't think.
We never did that.
Now, do you remember the little baby a while ago that I said you could tell by the dimples?
Yes,
That's
Joe.
Joe, yeah.
You said Joe with a dimple. See, I am paying attention. I remember
Yes.
the name. Well,
Oh, now this,
That's gonna be, is it, no?
that's at the lake.
I'm trying to think, looking which way though. That may be a different part of the lake, maybe.
did you ever use any of that property? Go down there? Just, okay.
Yeah,
So that's why it's hard to tell.
yeah, because we started out,
Well, the far shore was further away than that. That's why I'm thinking, I don't know where that is unless
but
it's
you know,
looking
perspective,
some
when you're
other.
taking a picture, sometimes you
Very
can't-
hard to tell.
hard to tell. What that reminded me of, Herman and Cleo, the two little dogs, we take them down with us.
Oh, did they
And
love
they
it?
loved it, absolutely
yeah.
loved it. But what they loved, especially Herman, he liked to get on the raft and just float around. So if you're going out on the raft,
He
you might as
wanted
well, you might as well move over, because he was gonna be out there with you.
It amazes me to see people on stand-up paddleboards that have their dogs with them. They
Yeah.
just love to go out and sit on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's Grandma and Grandpa.
Oh,
this is-
here it is.
Yep.
That's Roy. That's got to be
Yeah.
Roy.
Good looking, good
And
looking.
Paulette.
Is that Gary?
That's Gary.
Okay.
Perry and Dawson.
Yep, I recognize her. He's looking good and knows it.
That's Steve.
Got to be Steve. Mm-hmm.
At the old house.
Uncle James or Uncle Elmer, maybe? It's got the ears.
I don't know.
Okay.
Grandma, she had lost a tooth out of her dentures.
Oh.
That picture was made. And got it fixed.
Mm.
That's Dawson?
Maybe.
Has to be Dawson. And Uncle Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And they were real fascinated by his artificial limb. It was wooden.
Yeah.
You could sit on it and knock on it and all kinds of stuff. He didn't care. You couldn't hurt it. We were just.
Little miss.
That's cousin Wanda.
Wanda. Okay. That's the name I didn't recognize. Oh, get your hand off that cake. Cutie.
Joe again, maybe.
What?
Joe again, maybe.
No.
Can't see it.
No, it's too old, isn't it?
I think it's one of Aunt Isabel's, but I'm not sure which one. Paulette.
Oh, gosh.
You can always tell her.
A charmer.
Oh, but yeah, she was about maybe 8 years younger than I, and she died how many years ago?
4, 5, 6, something like that.
Grandpa's in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's Mom and
That's Elmer and Albert Franklin and Mom, and is that
Uncle James.
Uncle James?
And Uncle Paul, isn't it? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He played all kinds of instruments, and he played in these bluegrass bands, so he sang in front of somebody there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
A ladies' table.
More picnic tables.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Roy.
Roy.
I don't know who that is. I think y'all were trying on somebody's, was it Dennis's graduation gown?
It may have been, yeah. I do not have any idea who this was. And that's Finance Seal.
She was a treasure.
She was very happy.
Oh, she was just adorable. She's the one that was responsible for me to be meeting my dad.
Oh.
Janeen had started going by, well, no, this is like, I'm just gotta go by that couple. I would go visit her. I'd catch the bus in Greensboro and go down sometimes, it's about halfway home, and I would spend a weekend with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did that several times, but she'd never take me to church because she kept asking Juanita, my stepmother,
Has anybody mentioned
Yeah.
this child?
And so Juanita said no, and she said, well, you really need to tell those girls. Because see, they were, I was 18, 19,
Yeah.
and they were like, I think Sandra's like 4 years younger than I.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, she kept asking, and nothing happened. So I was coming one weekend, and Aunt Sil said, it's not fair for me to have company and not be able to take, her to, she said, and she is going Sunday. She's coming. And she said, when I introduce her as Ernestine Killian, what do you think the first question's going to be? So they got busy.
What rock did you overturn and find this?
So,
That's good.
Yeah,
That's very
so
good.
that she kind of forced the issue there. All right, is that Uncle Albert?
I would say so, yes.
That's Grandma. That's Uncle Albert. Okay, more food.
Well,
You
there's
know, we
not
would just
to be a
drag,
gathering without.
yeah, drag the chairs out under the big
Sure.
oak tree and that is that Ken or is it
Shadow
Greg?
in the face, can't tell.
I want to say it's Greg.
One of Perry and Doss's.
Okay,
Oh, then that's the one you've had.
earlier.
Uncle Chester and somebody. Right.
And that's Harriet and Denny. She was one of my college roommates, and I introduced them.
Mm.
And that's Rita, another cousin who was Paulette's age, and she's dead also.
Oh,
The baby cousins are gone. Well,
Yeah.
Steve's gone.
wow.
Yes, she's fine.
My friend that I've been corresponding with in the Netherlands, and we have to do the translation, I don't know if you know about this, but after 40 years, she reconnected with me because she saw it was my birthday on Facebook last year, and she just sent me happy birthday, and I went, Maddie, I didn't forget about it. I haven't been connected with her for 40-some years.
Oh, wow.
And so I write in English, she writes in Dutch, and we use translators, because I don't speak
Run it
Dutch
through
anymore.
Google Translate, yeah.
So I heard yesterday that she went back for a PET scan, and they said her cancer, not only is it not gone, it has spread, and the doctor gave her a year.
Ooh.
So that is hard, because she's not, even a year ago when I reconnected with her, she was having a very hard time with this, the possibility of dying, and not seeing her grandchildren grow up, so on and so forth. And I think she's probably in her mid-70s, and has 4 daughters and 2 grandchildren.
Oh, that's
So she asked for my book, and I said, well, it's in English, and she said, I'll get it translated. So she uses an apparatus of some sort to translate written word, but if it comes in an email from me through WhatsApp, we have application right in the... So she somehow managed to read my book. Now I'm thinking, I have an opportunity here to assist her in her last year,
Oh, how
like I did with
yeah.
Dasse.
Oh, fantastic.
Because I sat with her through her.
A purpose for reconnecting
Yes.
after so many
And-
years.
And I thought that when I heard it, when I read that yesterday, I thought, another purpose for me to have reconnected
Here's
with her
the
is to help
purpose.
her through this last year.
That's wonderful.
So every week I will send her a something, words of encouragement or a quote or a something.
so nice.
I did that for Dasse. Every week, if I saw her or not in the last 6 months, I had some kinds of words for her.
And I know that meant
It helps.
everything.
It helps,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you're frightened or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
which, because of my experience, I'm not.